Sony is claiming that the Activision Blizzard deal will irreparably harm competition and innovation in the industry. Now, after the Michael Pachter interview, I would have written this off, but let's talk about what I think they believe to be irreparably harming the industry versus a shift in the industry and how business is going to work in the near future. Let's discuss right now. So this story originally was from gamesindustry.biz, and it was an update to the story, right? It said basically, in response to this latest release from the UK regulator, Sony has issued the following statement to gamesindustry.biz. Redacted versions of the observations filed by SIE and Microsoft on the CMA's remedies notice were made public this week. Information regarding the terms of an offer made by Microsoft to provide future Call of Duty releases on PlayStation was redacted at the request of Microsoft. We believe their current offer will irreparably harm competition and innovation in the industry. So what they're alluding to is some sort of redaction in the documents that seem to be hiding something. Now, I'm going to call BS on that because Sony actively does the same thing with their documentation. We don't get to see everything in the documentation that they send to the FTC. There's whole exhibits that are redacted from that. Even in the Epic versus Apple versus everybody case, there's huge redactions there. And actually, one of the things they forgot to redact was how Microsoft charged for crossplay that we've talked about a lot on the channel. So Microsoft has provided this contract to other people who seem to think it's great. They were excited to sign and get on board. So Sony being the only person that takes issue with it and saying it's going to harm the industry is interesting. Some people have commented on this. Sony has responded to Microsoft's Call of Duty offer, claiming it will irreparably harm competition and innovation in the industry. This from Tom Warren. Sony also says the terms of the deal and the CMA documents were redacted at the request of Microsoft. I mean, of course, that's industry practice, right? So here's the quote that we just read. As the CMA is aware, SIE made known its concerns about the transaction to Microsoft almost a year ago. In the intervening period, Microsoft has not shown any real commitment to reaching a negotiated outcome. That's interesting because here's what you told Lulu basically the day after the trial. I don't want a new Call of Duty deal. I just want to block your merger. Jim Ryan, February 21st, 2023. I mean, I can't believe anything that you're going to say after that. You clearly have no interest in reaching an agreement. Nvidia reached an agreement. Valve said, we don't need an agreement. We trust you. And Nintendo, did I say Nintendo? Nintendo and Nvidia reached agreements. Nvidia even swapped their stance. So I just don't believe anything Sony's saying at this point. So anyway, they have not shown any real commitment to reaching a negotiated outcome. I mean, they have a contract in their hand. They have dragged their feet, engaged only when they sensed the regulatory outlook was darkening, and favored negotiating in the media over engaging with SIE. Microsoft's most recent proposal, which SIE received, is telling. That's quite interesting that you say that. Isn't there a video going around of them basically holding up a document that offers you whatever you wanted for the next 10 years? I don't have it open. I thought I would have it open and ready to go. I guess I'm a little off my game, but there's literally a video of Brad Sams holding up the contract saying, here it is. We're ready to make changes. Jim Ryan was in the audience. Nothing. The proposal fails to provide adequate protection for PlayStation's access to Call of Duty or for competition. Instead, it reveals Microsoft's lack of commitment to ensuring full and equal access to Call of Duty, confirms the risks of a behavioral remedy outlined in the guidelines, and reinforces SIE's belief that Microsoft intends to use Call of Duty strategically to dominate the gaming sector. How are they going to dominate the gaming sector when they're giving it to everybody? Everybody else is going to have it except for you at this rate. Like, I don't know what they're thinking. For buy-to-play and MGS, that just makes me think of Metal Gear. For buy-to-play and MGS services on console, as well as for cloud, Microsoft's proposal suffers from four main deficiencies. One, the standard of the parity obligation, Microsoft's scope to deviate from the agreement, pricing, and term. standard of parity obligation. Microsoft's proposal does not offer a clear commitment to parity that is legally hard-edged and enforceable, despite its repeated public utterances to the contrary. Under its proposal, Microsoft is obliged to use blank PlayStation parity between PlayStation and Xbox and their respective MGS services. This is a vague and weak commitment that does not give SIE assurances that Call of Duty will remain on PlayStation on terms that would maintain PlayStation's competitiveness. PlayStation wants exclusive betas. They want exclusive skins. They want all that exclusive stuff to continue. Well, guess what? That's not going to continue anymore. You can have the game, but anything released on any platform, everybody's going to have it now. It's going to be an even playing field. Sorry, Sony. You don't get to hold on to an exclusive for a year or have exclusive skins and stuff for months anymore. That's just not how it's going to work, and they don't like that. That's my read on it anyway. Scope to deviate. Microsoft's proposal allows too wide a scope for Microsoft to deviate from its weak commitment on parity. Under the proposed terms, Microsoft would blank. This is a vague and low bar that would essentially blank. Then Microsoft would be willing to invest, etc., etc. So Sony does not like the new comments, and they specify here. And given that Microsoft would be incentivized not to invest in the performance of Call of Duty on PlayStation as a weakened PlayStation, why would you not want your competitor to give you $1.5 billion a year? That just doesn't make sense. Just like it wouldn't make sense if I didn't tell you to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell at some point in the middle of the video. We still got a lot more documents to go through, but thanks for watching so far. Let's get back to it. So the next document Tom linked to was this one. This would provoke switching to Xbox is effectively meaningless. Pricing for buy-to-play under Microsoft's proposal, SIE can license the Call of Duty for Microsoft for a price based on blank. As a result of this licensing fee, Microsoft effectively has a lever over SIE to fix the PlayStation retail price of Call of Duty and soften competition against Xbox. It's going to be the same price on everything. I don't even know what they're talking about. Microsoft's proposal would therefore reduce competition between PlayStation and Xbox in terms of pricing, and compared to the pre-transaction scenario where SIE could do whatever they wanted and Microsoft negotiate terms for Call of Duty with an independent Activision on the merits and then compete against one other on retail prices. It's ridiculous. It's just nuts that they want everything to remain the way it was, and people are calling them on this. So here's what Derek Strickland had to say about it. Sony can't tell us why the 10-year Call of Duty deal is bad for PlayStation. Why? Because the terms of the agreement are protected. The same protections will also keep some, if not all, of Sony's exclusivity details private in FTC proceedings. Interesting. So Sony's going to use the same strategy where they're like, whoa, well, Microsoft is redacting things. Yeah, because that's how it works. New statement from Sony says Microsoft's current Call of Duty offer will irreparably harm competition, and says it was Microsoft that requested redactions of the public filing of the deal it offered to PlayStation. Come on. Of course they did. They're not going to just... Of course they did. That's ridiculous. Tom Henderson points out, all this is so funny to me when Jim Ryan literally said to employees in December, when we consider Game Pass, we've sold more PS5s in 2 years than they've gathered subscribers. And they've been doing that for 6 to 7 years. I have the receipts. And he references his story where Sony doesn't view Xbox Game Pass as competition. Oh, that changed pretty quick, didn't it, Jim Ryan? How about this one? I don't want a new Call of Duty deal. I just want to block your merger. We know you want to block the merger. So nothing you say holds water. It just rings hollow. And everybody's sort of starting to realize that right now. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I just think Jim Ryan's off his rocker a little bit here, but I'd love to hear what you think. And while I have you, consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting that bell. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Thank you to the members for supporting. I appreciate you. Let me know your thoughts. Also, I actually got to update the member list because we're over 50 plus members now. So I got to update it again. Click that join button if you want to watch these without ads. Be sure to check out the full Michael Pachter interview right here. I'm going to get out of here and I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.